The truth about spirituality. This is going to be a good one. Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Noah, back again with another YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. I help people awaken to their true abilities through wellness and spirituality, aka Noah's Ark. And thank you guys for stopping by. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the truth about spirituality because, as you guys know, a few years ago I actually had a spiritual awakening where my life went from being on autopilot to, uncovering the truth about life in general, and the truth about spirituality, simply put, is the present awareness, that we have. Because the moment that we are present, right, we tend to learn a lot of things, and spirituality in essence is understanding that there is a greater presence among us, other than ourselves, right? Spirituality is understanding that we are more than just humans, right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? We are human beings, right? Spiritual beings having a human experience. And so because of that, right, this is what spirituality means, right? And I tend to see a lot of people, get it twisted, right? A lot of people, the reality of the situation is that everybody's spiritual, there are just some people that don't have the awareness of others. There are some people that aren't really aware of the capabilities that they possess, right? They don't understand the capabilities and the powers of the universe, but that doesn't mean that they're not spiritual, right? Everybody is a spiritual being. And I think that a lot of people like to put spiritual people, right, in boxes, and they like to say that spiritual people are all vegan, they all subscribe to this certain person, they all eat like this, they all talk like this, right? But in reality, this is not true, being someone who is, spiritual means that you are able to accept people for who they are, understand that there are going to be people that are different than you, understand that there are going to be people who don't have the same mind as you, and that is okay. The reason why I wanted to make this video today is because I see a lot of people in the spiritual community that tend to judge people for, not thinking a certain way, right? Or not having the same perspective as them, right? Not sharing the same ideas with another, and the idea of spirituality is that there is so much that we can learn from this present moment, but at the same time, there are going to be people who view the world differently. We all play a role in this universe, we all play a role in how we show up in the world. In the spirituality community, in the spiritual community, there is a lot of people who think that they are quote-unquote better than somebody else because of the spiritual philosophies that they subscribe to, and this is when spirituality becomes a trend. It doesn't become a life form, right? Spirituality in essence is just how we live our life. It's an awareness, right? It's an understanding, it's a presence, and so it's not a specific way of thinking, it's not a specific way of eating, right? And you see a lot of people like to, think, like I said before, they like to think that they're better than people because of the philosophies that they subscribe to, or, what they eat, right? Or how they live their life. Right? But at the end of the day, this is what is making us judge people, when we do this, then we end up judging people for not being the same as us, right? When we start to put people in boxes, you know, we're doing the same thing that the school system did to us, right? We're teaching conformity. You know, we're teaching the same thing that we wanted to escape once we found spirituality, right? And that is conforming, you know, being the same as your next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? And when people judge you for living a certain way, you know, that shows more about them than it does you, right? People are, you know, and I see this a lot in the spiritual community, you know, people saying that they're better than people because they have a love for crystals, you know, because they believe in the power of crystals, right? Or they, you know, eat a certain way, right? They're, you know, they eat vegan, so I am better than you, you know, I'm more spiritual than you. And what this causes is it causes, you know, judgment. You know, it makes it to where people cast judgments on other people, and that is the opposite of what spirituality is, because spirituality is an understanding that, you know, everybody is unique, right? Everybody is not going to be the same, right? And our egos like to put people in boxes. Our egos like to put labels on things, right? Well, if you don't do this, then you're not spiritual, right? But in reality, when we do this, then we are just putting a price tag, you know, on somebody. We're putting a label on somebody. We're saying that this person is not spiritual because they don't subscribe to, or they don't do whatever. They're not like me. But the truth is, it's good that they're not like you. You know, if everybody was like you and everyone thought the same, life would be mundane, right? We want to be able to learn from other people. You know, we wouldn't be able to take on different perspectives, right? And different understandings. And this is the important thing about spirituality. It's like a flow of water. You know, it's like water in the ocean. You know, there's going to be all different types of flows. You know, it's not going to always flow the same way. And so if you are one of those people who might be judging somebody, you know, for living a certain way, right? Or you don't see them as spiritual, remind yourself that it's okay for people to be different than you. You know, whether you disagree with them or not, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Once we say that, oh, you're not spiritual, and we start judging people, then we're playing right back into conformity. We're playing right into kind of what we were trying to get out of from the beginning. When I first had my spiritual awakening, you know, I was like this too, right? I used to judge a lot of people for not thinking like me, right? For not subscribing to the same beliefs that I do. I used to be like, man, you're crazy. You know, how do you not look at life like this? Right? But it was eventually when I realized that, you know, everybody's unique, you know, and everybody else is on their own path, right? We can't force people to change. You know, we have to understand that change will come by us being ourselves. You know, and that's the main point of this video that I want to get across, is that spirituality is being comfortable with expressing yourself, you know, truly and authentically. You know, once we have this present awareness that we are spirit, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, then we're able to let loose, you know, we're able to have fun, and we're able to not take ourselves so seriously, you know. And I think that that's what a lot of people do in the spiritual community, is that they take themselves so seriously. They put themselves on this pedestal that other people aren't on, right? And that all plays into the conformity game, right? But nobody wants to conform, right? Conforming makes us slaves to the system. When we become obedient, you know, that is when the system wants us to be the same, right? But breaking free from that system is being able to understand that people are going to be different than us. You know, like in school, right? The school system is all taught one way. There's different levels of education, yes, but it's all taught in one way. You know, there's not multiple different ways for people to learn. That's what makes it such a conforming aspect of our life. You know, and we want to break out of that. So by breaking out of that, we're able to allow people to be themselves, you know, and say, I'm happy with who I am, you know, but I'm not going to judge people for what they want to do. You know, I'm not going to view somebody as less spiritual because they don't subscribe to the same spiritual philosophies that I do, right? And so I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The truth about spirituality. You know, I wanted to make this video because sometimes the spiritual community, you know, I want to bring awareness to it, right? I want to make it to where people truly understand what spirituality is and, you know, set the standard for the youth, right? And make it known that by putting people in a box, you know, we're ultimately putting ourselves in that box as well. You know, and so thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. I am going to be streaming on Twitch soon, so let me know if that's something that you guys would want to see. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or recommendations for future videos that you want me to talk about, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. And if you've made it this far, thank you. You are appreciated. But with all that being said, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night wherever you're at. And peace, love, and happiness. Mwah.